It's Friday, February 13th. In the headlines, new taxes introduced as government unveils $1.4 trillion budget. Reggae month movements. Gramps Morgan and Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown releases reggae single calling for reparation. In business news, Norman Manley International Airport to undergo renovations. Regionally, Barbados' general elections deemed fair and free, but concerns raised. In sports, 35 teams set for 2026 ISA Grace Shield and Headley Cup. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The government has unveiled a national budget shaped by the new economic realities left by Hurricane Melissa. Finance Minister Favour Williams tabled the estimates of expenditure on Thursday, explaining the administration plans to spend just over $1.4 trillion in the upcoming fiscal year. When adjusted for inflation of 4.5%, that amounts to approximately $1.37 trillion in real terms. That figure is higher than the $1.2 trillion initially proposed at the start of the current fiscal year. Speaking with journalists following Thursday's ceremonial opening of Parliament, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness said the decision to introduce new taxes was a last resort.
We don't take taxation lightly. It is literally the last resort, but we have to present to the people of Jamaica a credible budget, meaning that the people looking on what we propose can have confidence that what we're doing will be to their benefit and will prevent future need for more severe taxation.
For nearly a decade, the Holness administration maintained its no new taxes position, but that changed this week when Finance Minister Favour Williams announced a package of new revenue measures. Despite the new tax measures, the Prime Minister sought to reassure Jamaicans that the overall impact will not be severe and that safeguards are in place to protect the most vulnerable.
I don't believe that anyone could reasonably expect that we could present a budget without even a limited tax package. And the reason for the taxation is not because of government profligacy, not because of wastage or bad policy. It is because of a super phenomenal event and has caused significant damage, created more expenditure than we can accommodate in our general revenue.
The government is projecting billions of dollars in additional revenue from new and adjusted taxes next year. Increases in duties on alcohol are expected to bring in about $1.6 billion, while higher taxes on cigarettes should generate roughly $1.1 billion. At the center of the government's 2026-2027 revenue package is a new special consumption tax on non-alcoholic sweetened beverages set at 2 cents per milliliter. Finance Minister Favour Williams tabled the estimates of expenditure on Thursday and explained that the tax serves broader public health objectives in a country grappling with obesity and diabetes.
Sweetened beverages are recognized as a significant source of extra sugar consumption. Any reduction in consumption resulting from the price adjustment would represent a positive supplementary outcome.
Minister Williams notes that sweetened beverages are widely consumed across all income levels and are consistently traded goods.
Data from the 2024 Economic and Social Survey of Jamaica indicate that domestic production of carbonated beverages increased from approximately 17.3 million cases in 2020 to an estimated 20.1 million cases in 2024, reflecting sustained demand.
The finance minister explains that sweetened beverages are not noted in law as prescribed goods for SCT purposes.
The proposed SCT will be assessed on a per-unit basis, calculated based on the total liquid volume of each sweetened beverage, measured in milliliters.
Opposition spokesman on finance, Julian Robinson, questioned the sugary drinks tax's effectiveness in changing behavior and urged part of the revenue to be ring-fenced for healthier alternatives.
But I would recommend that some of the monies that are collected from it, are invested and provided to the local agriculture industry so that natural juices, unsweetened natural juices, can be provided as alternatives to the sweetened drinks.
Jamaicans living in rural communities are set to benefit from improved public transportation as the Jamaica Urban Transit Company rolls out a new rural express service. The initiative is designed to provide a safe, reliable, and more affordable way for commuters to travel longer distances between rural areas and urban centers, including Kingston. The service features fewer stops, scheduled departures, and upgraded buses aimed at expanding access and easing travel challenges outside the corporate area. Here's more.
In Jamaica's rural communities, getting from home to urban areas like Kingston isn't always easy. For many, public transport is inconsistent, costly, or simply unavailable. But now, a new option has emerged on the horizon. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company has rolled out a rural express service, a safe, reliable, and affordable way to connect communities outside the urban centers.
We have had a demand and an ask for buses to run on longer routes because if you know our routes are normally short. So also one of the things why we are introducing these express routes is so that persons can go back home at a more cheaper and affordable rate. Persons can now don't have to necessarily move into Kingston to work into Kingston anymore. You can take a JUTC bus. Additionally, it was important for us to launch these additional new express routes because, to be frank, the taxi operators and the bus operators, they can't serve everyone. There are persons who are left behind, and especially for persons who can't afford other modes of transportation. This is where the JUTC comes in because we want no one to be left behind.
The first set of routes were chosen carefully, guided by commuter demand, community feedback, and detailed route assessments.
So the ask, a lot of persons on our social media, we want Mandeville, we want Montego Bay. Also, we have a lot of UWI students that live in the Westmoreland region, the Nigger region, the Montego Bay region, and they don't really visit home much often. So with these new routes, cheaper, comfortable, and better time, they can now go home. So the people are asking and we're just delivering.
Jamaica's push to strengthen its foothold in science and advanced manufacturing is getting a major boost following the official opening of a state-of-the-art innovation facility at the University of Technology. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness on Tuesday launched the Lloyd Carney Foundation IMEK Laboratory at UTEC's Papine campus, a more than $1 million investment designed to equip students with cutting-edge tools in engineering, manufacturing, and product design. The facility, funded by the Lloyd Carney Foundation, is being hailed as a game changer for STEM education and a critical step toward positioning Jamaica in high-value, technology-driven manufacturing. Here's more in this report from Danita Rodney.
Jamaica's push into high-tech manufacturing received a major boost with the opening of the IMEK laboratory at the University of Technology, Jamaica. The state-of-the-art makerspace is designed to help students and innovators develop real-world solutions through science and engineering. Speaking at the launch at the Papine campus, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness said the facility comes at a critical time as global manufacturing shifts toward high-value, technology-driven production, creating new opportunities for smaller nations like Jamaica.
You will always have conventional manufacturing, subtractive manufacturing, as Mr. Cargill pointed out. But the technology is evolving that allows smaller countries to participate in the manufacturing game of not necessarily scale and mass, but in high value, high technology.
The Prime Minister highlighted Luxembourg as an example of a small country that is dominating technology-driven manufacturing, noting that Jamaica has the potential to do the same.
The example of Luxembourg is a good example of a very small country, but they produce very high value manufacturing output. We can do it right here. We have the bright people here too. Yes. We have the people who understand the science and the mathematics and the design. Yes. And we must cultivate them and support them and dedicate resources to them.
President of UTech Jamaica, Dr. Kevin Brown, expressed profound gratitude, stating that this investment reflects a commitment to national development.
At the outset, I wish to express our sincere and profound gratitude to our Chancellor, Ambassador Lloyd Carney, and the Lloyd Carney Foundation for a remarkable investment of over $1 million which has been used to establish this advanced STEM lab. This act of generosity exemplifies the power of giving back and reflects a deep commitment to national development through education, innovation, and opportunity. We are immensely grateful.
Dr. Brown says the lab will be open to students across all disciplines, giving them hands-on access to advanced manufacturing tools while supporting the university's research strategy focused on research, STEM growth, and entrepreneurship. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
As Reggae Month celebrations gather momentum, reggae's message of resistance and justice remains at the forefront. Gramps Morgan has teamed up with Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, recording under the name Gassy Dread, for a new single titled Reparations, set to release this Friday. The song addresses the long-lasting effects of colonialism in the Caribbean and is being launched during both Reggae Month and Black History Month, reinforcing reggae's historic role in liberation movements. Morgan says the track is intended to keep the reparation conversations alive, urging justice and compensation for Africans and the Caribbean diaspora.
Justice must come.
Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the development shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Satara English Byfield, Chief Executive Officer of PAC Kingston Airport Limited, PACAL, says the renovation is aimed at transforming the first and last impression of passengers who have Jamaica's main international gateway as a destination. The airport operator says the upgrades, valued at about $1.5 billion, will modernize the arrivals and departure airport and improve the passenger experience. A $1.2 billion renovation of the customs hall and arrival area is expected to take 2 years and will include a covered curbside pickup zone and enhancement to food and beverage facilities. At the same time, a $320 million upgrade to the Link Corridor will add 4 new retail locations, including restaurants and a duty-free outlet, along with other improvements. This project is expected to be completed in about 16 months and marks the first phase of a broader overhaul of the departures area. PACAL expects the main projects to be completed by 2029. JN Money expands its money transfer services in the Cayman Islands following expansions to Gambia, Nepal, Nicaragua, Ghana, Honduras, India, Kenya, the Philippines, Senegal, and Uganda in August 2025. I quote, "Cayman has a large migrant population and experiences significant remittance activity, so it's vital that these services are convenient, reliable, and accessible," says Horace Hines, General Manager of JN Money Services to R Today. I continue to quote, "By establishing a presence in Bodden Town, Cayman Islands, JN Money is ensuring that residents can send money safely and efficiently without having to travel long distances," end quote. He added that the expansion into undisturbed communities in the Cayman Islands reflects JN Money's commitment to meeting customer needs while strengthening the company's presence in the market. For the trading period of February 12, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Trans-Jamaica Limited with 5,459,547 units, representing 29.6% of market sales activities. Kintyre Holdings Jamaica Limited with 1,946,629 units, representing 10.56% of market sales activities. Future Energy Source Company Limited, ordinary shares with 1,623,870 units, representing 8.81% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, energy, and advertising plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for February 12, 2026. Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $156.92 and buying at $155.49. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 70 cents in transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $115.36 and was bought for $114.66. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $1.34 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $213.70 and was bought for $212.36. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, a meeting with a banker goes well when the professional focuses on reducing risk, not just explaining the idea. Before the meeting, a professional should check their credit report, fix any errors, and be ready to explain past problems and how they were resolved. They should also prepare simple cash flow numbers and clearly define who is responsible for what, and show any savings, collateral, or partners involved. In the meeting, they should also show that they're reliable and organized, then explain the project. When the banker sees control and consistency, the discussion can move from why this is risky to how this can be funded. In our Funded and Focused feature, when you seek funding from a government contract, your business must demonstrate readiness to meet the needs of the contracting department. How can you do this? Training signals preparedness. Government-specific and business courses improve understanding of procurement rules and expectations. This helps businesses to document training history and identify gaps that additional training can fill. As an example, our client, Trevon, who operates a solar equipment installation business, once underestimated training value. With business consulting and professional guidance, training became a credibility asset. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, election observers who monitored Barbados' general election say the vote was free, fair, and transparent, but not without concern. Head of Mission Ian Hughes reports that while polling day unfolded smoothly, stakeholders flagged issues including voter enumeration challenges, missing names on lists, and lower voter turnout. Deanza Roberts reports.
The observer mission will depart Barbados tomorrow, leaving behind a report that largely endorses the integrity of the country's electoral process. Head of Mission Ian Hughes says issues were brought to the mission's attention by stakeholders during consultations prior to the polls, among them the call for a fixed date for election.
Some of the concerns raised by stakeholders included the composition and transparency of the voters list, needed reform for greater access to the electoral process for persons with disabilities, campaign financing, media access, difficulties communicating with and receiving support from the EBC, voter education, and a call for fixed dates for elections to provide greater predictability for all stakeholders.
Hughes says while voting procedures met international standards and were conducted in a transparent manner, he pointed out that overall voter turnout appeared low.
Polling staff appeared adequately trained, courteous, and efficient. They conducted their duties in an impartial and professional manner. Voters were disciplined in casting their ballots. Voter turnout maintained a steady pace throughout the day, but appeared noticeably low. Regarding the configuration of polling stations, it was observed that the positioning of voting booths was inconsistent.
The mission is also recommending decentralized counting of ballot boxes and a review of the enumeration process.
Counting of votes at the individual polling stations should be considered to facilitate the more efficient tabulation and transmission of results and reduce logistical risks. This would also minimize the need for the recruitment of additional poll workers and security officers. And 3, voters list management. The Electoral and Boundaries Commission may wish to review its enumeration and registration process to enhance the management and accuracy of the voters list.
Despite those recommendations, the observer mission maintains that the overall electoral process reflected the will of the people. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Still in Barbados, legislation is coming to prevent elected legislators from crossing the floor. Prime Minister Mia Mottley made the announcement on Thursday at State House, where she was sworn in for a 3rd consecutive term. Ms. Mottley and Barbados' newest Attorney General Wilfred Abrahams took their oaths before the President of Barbados, Lieutenant Colonel the Most Honorable Jeffrey Bostick.
Members of Parliament who want to cross the floor may have to think twice. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley says the parliamentary party has agreed that one of the first bills that will be introduced to the Parliament is anti-defection legislation.
And it wasn't raised by me, it was raised by members of the parliamentary party who felt that if you are prepared to break, whether voluntarily or by whatever means, that you should go back to the polls and allow people to be able to validate your decision. Because in our system, while formally there's no recognition of political parties, the de facto reality is that people run on a political party ticket. And people are accepted by some, not only in their own individual right, but also as the representative of this party, its programs, its policies, its manifesto.
2 defections have occurred in recent times. In 2018, Bishop Joseph Atherley crossed the floor to become opposition leader. And then it happened again in 2024 when government backbencher Ralph Thorne also crossed the floor to become leader of the opposition. Prime Minister Motley says it's time for this to stop. She also believes the country is in need of electoral reform.
What transpired over the last few weeks with respect to the systems and the fact that we are dealing with legislation that is 30, 40 years old is something that requires immediate attention. And it is for this reason that I invited the observer teams, the Commonwealth Electoral Observer Team, the CARICOM Electoral Observer Team. Both of them are still here, and I trust that they will continue their discussions, investigations, and that they will make their recommendations to us in a way that will inure to the benefit of this nation.
And she is also opened to offering the Democratic Labour Party seats in the upper chamber.
I did it once, I did it twice, and I will do it 3 times. In the Parliamentary Reform Commission, one of the recommendations, I think Ambassador Thompson was very strident in it, because she knows that that is the feeling of myself and the Barbados Labour Party, that they must be given a voice in the Senate. And it is up to the Democratic Labour Party again. I trust and pray that they will do what the country expects of them, to be able to appoint 2 persons. How we get it done within the context of the current constitutional framework, we are prepared to make sure it happens.
The brief ceremony took place in the presence of family, friends, and dignitaries, including Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre. Onesta Henry, CBC News.
In sports, we open the innings with cricket. 35 teams are set to compete in the 2026 ISA Grace Shield and Grace Headley Schoolboy Cricket competitions, with organizers unveiling a $9 million sponsorship package ahead of the new season. The announcement confirms 20 teams in the GK General Insurance Grace Headley Cup and 15 in the first Global Bank Grace Shield, a slight reduction from last year. Now to football news. Global sportswear company Adidas has unveiled its Bob Marley collection, introducing Jamaica's 2026 home and away football kits, inspired by the cultural legacy of Bob Marley. Created in collaboration with the Bob Marley Foundation, the collection incorporates archival imagery and vintage pieces linked to Bob Marley. The kits feature a flowing wave pattern, symbolizing the rhythm of Marley's music and Jamaica's spirit. Key items such as the golden yellow jersey and full zip jacket also display the mantra, "Football is freedom," highlighting Marley's passion for the sport and belief in its unifying power. And that's it for the weekend news on PBCJ. Thanks for watching.